Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a long video. It's time to get a few things off the chest. I'm going to talk about transfer activity as well. If this is your first time coming across the channel, I would kindly ask like and subscribe below. It would be really appreciated. Look, a Tuesday night was probably the worst performance I've witnessed as a Celtic fan. And I'm sure a lot of fans will agree as well. It's not just down to the disappointment of the Champions League this campaign. It's been down to the disappointment of losing to Malmo in the playoff, losing to AEK Athens in the playoff, losing to Cluj in the playoff. Them results over the last decade has affected the club financially. But yes, we're in a good place of making big money sales, qualifying for Champions League automatically of coefficient ratings. But Tuesday night was arguably the worst performance I've ever seen. From back to front, we could not be constructive in our play. We weren't assertive in our play. We weren't hungry. We just weren't hungry enough to do a job against a team that's ranked 315th in UEFA rankings. Congratulations to Almaty. They were an absolute awful team to play against. They had a plan to win as much free kicks, to waste as much time, to bring Celtic to extra time, ride it out the penalties and beat them on penalties in front of their home crowd. And they done it. And well done to them, defending well at Celtic Park and frustrating us. 7 goals on target over 2 legs for a club of Celtic stature isn't good enough. And people are saying, who is the fault? Is it the team? Is it the manager? Is it the board? As Callum McGregor said in his post-match reaction, we take it all as one. We take the criticism as one. The team failed. The individuals on the pitch failed. The fact is, them guys who stepped up for the penalties, some of them shit it. Some of them weren't arsed. Idah is one. Luke McCown, I really feel sympathetic towards Luke McCown because you could see how much it meant to him. Luke missing that penalty of getting knocked out. But Days in Idah doesn't look like the same player he did last season. I know it's early stages into the season, but there is a bit of anxiety kicking around social media. Will Idah leave? Will Celtic cash in on Idah to recuperate the funds of not progressing into the Champions League? Or will he stay? My personal opinion is I think he'll stay. I'm not worried about Idah leaving. I'm more concerned about his form. I'm more concerned about him moving on and trying to replicate what he done last season. Will we have the same Days in Idah as last season? Will he be better? Will he be worse? Time will tell. But I really feel like Idah, that 85th minute chance, he should have put in the back of the net. And I said it on the channel a couple of times over the last few days. A player like Carter Vickers' statue, he doesn't care less. He's not interested the way he was. He's not interested since he got that injury against Rangers in the Scottish Cup semi-final in Andrew's final season. He has not been the same player. His attention levels in the game is not up to the standard. He looks like he's lost that yard of pace. Not because he's getting older. It just looks like he's lost it down to fitness and injury issues. And it just shows that with the manager, he's putting the trust into his players. This manager knows that he isn't getting backed by the board. And when you're not getting backed by the board, what do? You rely on your players to get you over a hole. You rely on your players to have that bit of magic. And the lack of quality in that squad is there. It is proven time again. We are lacking quality in that right wing. We haven't replaced Nicholas Kiln. We haven't replaced Kyogo. We haven't replaced Matt O'Reilly in that attacking position. Nigrin is not an attacking midfielder. He's more of a right-hand side midfielder. Yang, who's linked with a move to Birmingham City, which the reports came out yesterday that they're interested in signing the South Korean winger. He's 23 years of age. It hasn't really worked out for him at Celtic. Yeah, he scored 5 goals last season, but he's not a first choice. And he was sussed out the other night. He was absolutely poor. On and off the ball, he was horrendous. And I don't care if fans are saying and throwing these players under the bus. We have the right to throw the players under the bus. Because when you have fans that spend thousands and thousands of pounds going off to Kazakhstan to hopefully get through, to be beating this team on paper, to be beating this team maybe 2 or 3-0 and getting the job done with the side that we have, and these players don't turn up, you have the right to criticise players. And I'm sick of fans jumping on the defensive board for players that are not good enough for this team. Simple. It's out there. Adam Idah is another one. 4 games this season, 0 goals. He missed the penalty the other night, didn't care less. Did facial expressions sell everything to me? His work rate isn't at the level, and he's linked with a move. He's linked with a move to Swansea City, and the reports came last night from Alex Nixon, and then Pete Rourke from the Football Insider broke the story this morning, and they're not the reliable sources. And then Sky Sports broke the story saying that Celtic and Swansea City are in advanced talks with Adam Idah. Now, the benefits of getting rid of Adam Idah is he had 4 years left in his contract. Yes, we got fleeced for a fee from Norwich of over 9 million for a guy. He's played over 74 games for Celtic, 29 goals and 3 assists. We need to stop thinking of Adam Idah when he came on loan, when he made an impact. We need to stop thinking of Adam Idah scoring in the cup final. We need to stop thinking of that. We need to think of what Adam Idah has produced over the turn of the new year. He had a decent performance at Villa Park, 2 goals. He scored at Ibrox. He scored 20 goals last season. It didn't feel like he scored 20 goals last season because he went on a stage of a drought of 16 games without a goal. Hold on a minute, folks. Hold on a minute here, right? If your first choice striker at Celtic when Kyogo goes and you have to make that stamp, why are you not scoring 25 to 30 goals a season? Why are you not getting that? Is it down to lack of service of not replacing O'Reilly behind Idah? It just shows that this board isn't ambitious enough. Adam Idah has not worked out at Celtic. You might look at that stat and say, well, 29 goals, Keith, that's not bad for the guy who came on loan and then took a permanent move. It's not good enough. Simple as. We should have had more goals. We should have scored the other night. Should have scored against St. Mirren on the opening day. Should have been banging more goals in the pre-season. But he didn't. So, and that's not me being disrespectful for Adam Idah. I'm just saying that as a fan. He is not a Celtic's quality. And when I say he's not a Celtic's quality, the big club pressure gets to Adam Idah. He's only ever played professional football for Norwich City, and his goals to game ratio wasn't great. Played over 120 games for them and scored nearly 17 goals. Yes, he was behind Pukki, he was behind Sargent, whatever his name was. But the point is, we got fleeced in this deal, and I'm not going to label him as a dud, but he isn't good enough for Celtic, and I hope he goes down to Swansea City. We really can recuperate 5 or 6 million off this deal if it's possible, and he starts a new chapter down there. And I wish him the best because he's a fellow Irishman, and it's sad that we have to come to this conversation where we feel frustrated that so-called main striker steps up. Yeah, it can happen. You miss penalties in a penalty shootout, but the pressure behind it. This is why you pay 9 million on a striker, is when you expect him to deliver the goods in the big games, and he hasn't. Some of the games last season, the Champions League, he was good against young boys in Villa, but overall, as his permanent move to Celtic, wasn't comprehensive. We need to go out and get a replacement for Adam Idah. I wouldn't even say replacement, someone better than Adam Idah. That's the fact. The fact is, he goes to Swansea City, he kicks on, he knows that league quite well, and I'll do him well. Do him well. As I said yesterday on a post when he was linked with a move to Swansea, I'll pay for his taxi fare down. 95% of Celtic fans were agreeing with me across Facebook, agreeing with me across Instagram, because it's the God honest truth. They could see with their own eyes he isn't good enough. But you get these happy clapper gobshites that be like, why are you pointing at one player from the performance the other night? No, I wasn't pointing at one player. If people done the homework and watched me doing the watch along, I called out Carter Vickers many times. I called out Negrin playing bad in that attacking midfield position. I called out certain players all night. Yang was particularly on top of the list. Idah was on top of the list because he came off the bench and he done absolutely nothing to say, you know, I feel sorry for him. So, yes, 9 million wasted, some people will say. But if we recuperate back 6 million of that, we'll move on. We have enough money in the bank anyway. We could take a pinch on Adam Idah. But Yang, if he goes to Birmingham, I wish him the best. He's just not at Celtic's level. Some of these guys aren't at Celtic's level. We're going to replace Yang with Balikwisha. Well, the deal was Balikwisha was done before even Yang was even in advanced talks with Birmingham. The 24-year-old completed his medical yesterday in London for a 5 million fee from Royal Antwerp from the Belgian Pro Jupiter side. 24 years of age, 14 games from the turn of the new year to the end of May, and he featured 4 times so far this season. So he's fit, ready. Could put him in at Ibrox on the left wing. We need a bit of quality on the left wing, with Jota being absent up till the new year. We need to play Moyed and get Moyed his confidence back. We need to get Moyed his confidence back. We have been linked with another winger. His name is Sebastian Tamoki. Now, Tamoki, if I pronounce it wrong, correct me if you want. He's 23 years of age, Algerian winger. He's been capped for his country 3 times. He's born in Norway. He's playing for Hammarby, and Hammarby are rating him at 1.8 million for this guy. Now, looking at his overall stats on FotMob, he's an average of 7.3 player in his career so far at that club. He came through the Bodo Glimt ranks, didn't really work out at Bodo Glimt. Then he got that move there to that side. And look, at the end of the day, Hammarby are a decent team in Sweden. We've monitored a couple of players in the past, but it's just disappointment from the board yet again. This guy is linked with a move to Celtic. Celtic put a requirement in of 1 million quid, and he's valued at 1.8. Stop being stingy shites and spend the money. This is the problem with Celtic. It happened with Janssen, who was at Rapid Vienna. We didn't meet his valuation, went for half the valuation. It's happened with Jacob Brennan at Go Ahead Eagles, not meeting the valuation. Has happened with Olistar, that was at the Norwegian team, nowhere near his valuation. Celtic board are not serious enough about building a project. I just think they just do it for the sake of headlines. Do it for the sake of, oh, we're trying in the window. We're not trying hard enough. They're not trying hard enough. That's the God honest truth. We're still yet to see the confirmation of that low move from Broca Junior's left back, Marcelo Sarachi, the 27-year-old who has experience of playing in Europe, playing for Levante, playing for Galatasaray, playing for even River Plate in his earlier days, playing for River Plate and Broca Juniors, crazy, and playing for Red Bull Leipzig as well in the Bundesliga. It's a low move, no option to buy for 27-year-olds. Yet again, another cheap stunt from the board. My honest opinion on Brendan Rodgers, this is how I feel. And people will agree and disagree on Brendan Rodgers, what I'm going to say. Maybe it's time that we move Brendan Rodgers on, even though he has a year left in his contract. I think it's down to a whole situation around Brendan Rodgers' contract, about his style of play, about him not being backed. What's the point of keeping a manager where he can't build a side for the future, where he's not going to be a part of it? What's the point of putting a project in place when he's not getting backed? He hasn't been backed. People said he was back last year. I don't care about last year. I cared about this year. The fact is, he got back getting Adam Idah in the door, and we're getting rid of Adam Idah. Arnie Ingles, I think it's time he needs to prove himself. As I said already in the channel, Adam Idah was never a 9 million player. Arnie Ingles, a lot of money come from a Bundesliga side, Augsburg, but he needs to prove himself. If he doesn't prove himself at the end of the season, I will be calling on this channel to sell him. Take a pinch or listen to offers from him at the end of the day. Brendan Rodgers should move on, because we should go in and just get someone early in this season. What's the point of having him here? And I know people are going to say in the comments, already said he wants to stay to the end. What's the point of staying in the job when deep down inside your managers are not backing you? They're not backing you. And if they're not backing you, it's affecting your mood. And if you're putting out teams that you trust to do the job with the individuals that you credit all the time, and you can't get over a team in Kazakhstan, what does it say about the mentality of Brendan Rodgers? Is Brendan Rodgers living on this philosophy because he's he's managed Liverpool, he's managed Celtic, that he's bigger than he is? Or is it a case that he's getting shafted by the board? I think he needs to take accountability of the failure the other night. At the end of the day, he picked the team, he picked the tactics, he picked the spot kickers. It was up to him to build that team and motivate that team. And if he can't motivate that team against Almaty, who were, be honest with you, probably a Europa League team, what are we going to do in Europa League with Brendan Rodgers? I'm dreading the Europa League. As much as I said the other night, we're a Europa League team, look at the calibre of the teams in Europa League. Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, AS Roma. There's some decent teams. Porto. Really decent teams in that Europa League. And Celtic fans will sit there with the green tints on and say to themselves, oh, we could do damage in this Europa League. Do damage with that squad? Are you fucking kidding me? That squad is going to struggle this season. Once you get a few injuries to that squad. Some teams have copped on to Celtic play. It's boring at the back. You just need to put 10 men behind the ball. Let Celtic try. Keep playing tippy-tappy football between Vickers and Scales and the full backs. Try to hit into the wing. Doesn't work. And this is what the problem is. As much as we beat Livy, we beat Aberdeen, we beat St Mirren, it doesn't make any improvements from last season, folks. To be honest with you, we've gone backwards since last season. I've said it already. O'Reilly, Kyogo, Kiln, big losses. If you want to build, you have to replace people going out the door. And I'm not saying replace by going and matching the sale that you've made. Replace with even 50% of what you've sold for. But it's a lack of ambition. Celtic are going into the Swedish League and going in to try buy someone that's undervalued. Laughable. Just laughable. The board need to take a big account on what's happened. Because to all them who are accountants, who are at executive level, that are so-called Celtic fans, why did you not see this coming? Why did you not see this coming from previous mistakes of Malmo, of Cluj, of Tuesday night, of AEK Athens? When you don't back your team, your manager gets unhappy. And if your manager gets unhappy, it's going to fall down to the squad. And if the confidence is not there from Brendan, who's meant to be a top good manager, he has his foot halfway out the door. I'm telling you now, as much as he's saying to you in the media that he wants to stay here and fulfill his contract and he doesn't want to make the mistake of leaving from Leicester the last time, if he's not happy in the job, there will be offers for Brendan Rodgers. There will be approaches from Premier League outfits, from other teams. And as I said, I'd let him go. I let him go. I wish him the very best, but his football isn't the football that will move Celtic Football Club forward. The squad of players isn't the individuals that will win us a treble. The squad of players are not the team that will get us into the last 8 of Europa League, sadly. And I love, if they prove me wrong, I could be eating these words next summer, but I'm looking at a bigger aspect, as I said. I don't spend 19 minutes on a channel and reflecting over podcasts, reflecting over performance. I'm reflecting over the time when we took the foot off the pedal at Ibrox in January. Got a couple of decent wins since the new year, and then that was it. Half them boys checked out since the Allianz Arena. They're all packed out. They're still on holiday mode. Half of that team is, to be honest with you. And that's down to Brendan. That's down to Brendan. He needs to get them players to give a reaction. When you're pinned up to a wall, what are you going to do? You're going to fight back. And you use every resource you can. And that's down to the players that have done it for you in the past. And clearly, Callum McGregor, who is being an absolute remarkable captain since he came in and took that captain's armband from Scott Brown in 2021. His legs are gone. His legs, he might get away with it in Scottish football, but my God, against a team who's in the Kazakhstan league, and you can't get a reaction. You can't be at even a 7 out of 10 performance. Just shows that we are lacking in that defensive midfield department. I've said it so many times on this channel. Callum McGregor isn't a defensive midfielder. Some games he's done that role alright, but he's more productive as an attacking midfielder. He came in his senior career on the wing and then playing as an attacking midfielder for Celtic. And that's where he got the goals. That's how he established himself in the team under Ronnie, under Brendan. And I know Scott Brown left and he had to take that captain armband now over, but don't know. It's very hard to be optimistic about this season, folks. As much as they crumbled last night in Bruges, they got hammered in Bruges, and I am quite confident going to Ibrox and beating them. But I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star performance, if it's a case that we go out the traps and hammer them, because it could be effect of jet lag, it could be effect of confidence being down, the morale being down after losing on Tuesday night. And I know Callum McGregor's came out and said to the media that Sunday would be the best example of getting your confidence back and building the team back up together. But I hope he's right. But Sunday is not just a game of football. Sunday, you go to war. Sunday, you beat so-called your rivals and beat them and brush them out, because they have their own problems. They have a lot of bad problems. And as much as we have our problems with our board, with our style of football at times, with certain individuals isn't that good enough, they are killing. They are hurting as a team, as a fan base, 10 times more than we are. So hopefully you take something from this. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. It's been 22 minutes of my time, and I've been honest. I've been the most accurate and precise I can be with you. But maybe we should move Brendan on, because there's no point of sitting in and week out talking about his contract he's not going to get back. He's failed in the Champions League qualification yet again, which he done in AEK Athens because of the board weren't putting the money in. He's failed with that crop of players, which in AEK Athens, Mark Hendry was brutal. He was brutal. The Belly moved on. Edward done all right for us. You just look. If you can't get the good man management skills for a big club like Celtic, and your tactics are not at that level, you question your manager as well. So I'll leave it there. I'll let you decide who's right and who's wrong, and please subscribe to the channel. Hell.